first next-gen game details suggest that a higher game pricing is on the way.
Level 857 Video Game Podcast.
All right, so obviously nobody likes paying more for games. It's been, in my mind, it's been $50 for a game since my entire life. And it's obviously not $50 for a game anymore, but in my head, I'm like, oh, it's still $50. It's never changed since I was little.
This is Monopoly money. I'll just say whatever. I don't care.
But,
denial.
So, what is it? NBA 2K, that series has leaked the price of $70 for the newer gen titles. It's $60 for the older gen. They want to make it different by, if they're both out at the same time, why should I buy this one over this one?
Right.
$70. So everybody's like, okay, yes, it costs more to make games now, so the prices should go up. I mean, I've been buying games for a long time, and during the Super Nintendo time, even Nintendo times, there were titles that were far more than $60, let alone $50. Like, what was it, $69 for Final Fantasy 2.
99 for Phantasy Star 4.
Phantasy Star 4 was $99.99.
Like, certain JRPGs and, like, even Legend of Zelda. Link, 2.
Zelda 2.
Those were $90. Like, the prices were way up even then. But I understand where they're coming from. A lot of stuff goes into making these games now. A lot more people involved. A lot more money needs to be made. But I thought that the way that they countered that is by having these transactions and DLCs and subscription-based models that they're going for. Now, if they're starting to charge $70 plus, including that way to make money,
you better not have no DLC.
Then it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, you better not have no DLC. I'm spending $70 for a damn game. You crazy?
Yeah, that game better be complete if I'm paying $70.
Yeah, it's got to be complete.
Or I better have an automatic portal to whatever DLC you're releasing.
Easily.
Yeah.
You know what? I understand I understand. It costs a lot of money.
It went from 50 to 60. Everybody
costs
took.
a
They
lot of
said
money
okay.
to develop games, but like the thing is, it's like like I don't know, man. It's like at the same time, it's just bad timing. Like it's just bad timing. Like right now,
I'm looking at it is bad timing. I'll just chime in here. $70 in 1990. So you know, games were. I'm thinking about my childhood. I'm thinking about like PC games, video games. Like you had these higher price points for game back then. That's worth, I guess, according to this inflation calculator I'm looking at, that's $138 to $140 today. Like games felt. I mean, I wasn't paying for them back then, but it seemed like they were really expensive, so that you didn't have a lot of them. Maybe we're trending back towards this reality of like developers being like, hey, these games are actually pretty expensive, and this $60 price point is arbitrary. I think we need to like raise the ceiling again,
right?
For whatever reason. But it doesn't feel like a radical move to me, and it doesn't feel like uncharted territory. It feels like they're kind of going back to, I don't know.
Is it just 2K that has come out publicly and said this, or are there other games saying
as
like,
of right now?
Yeah, as of right now,
they have the leaked price. If that's the case, and EA sees this, EA titles are going to be $70.
Yeah, EA's like, where?
But then if EA does it, then Ubisoft's going to be like, our games are $70. Right. And then if those companies make their games $70, that's the new norm. Like it's going to happen. It's going to be that's the new thing for every. At least AAA title.
They set the price.
It's going to be $70.
Pricing. Yeah.
But that doesn't say that third-party titles or like smaller titles won't be $60 still. Like you see $40.
Right.
It's different.
In a way, one thing. I mean, from the consumer side, this is certainly not great news. From the developer side, Diego, feel free to speak your piece here. It's kind of a relief that you're the ceiling is being raised, because I think there's all this pressure for developers to price down, especially developers who are on the lower end of the sort of price scale. Okay. Like, independent developers, we're trying to justify a $10 release, and now
I will say, like, trying to decide if Damage in Transit was too expensive at 15, like, in retrospect, is absurd to me.
I paid more for a pizza. I did.
Yeah,
that's true.
And you can only eat that pizza once.
Yeah, you can only eat the pizza once.
Damage in Transit.
Exactly.
Yeah, only eat pizza once.
It's
true.
Exactly.
Consume it,
So there's a and a lot more man hours went into making Damaged in Transit. Although it could be argued that pizza to get good at making takes a long time.
It could be a bad pizza for
Side
that price.
point, but I from the developer side, it's kind of like, well, maybe everybody's finally like giving ourselves a raise. I don't know, like it gives developers an opportunity to like reassess this, and consumers as well. Like, what is a value proposition here now that Steam's still taking 30% of most sales on Steam if you're an independent developer. You know, it's like it's a matter of deciding what the game is worth, deciding what we as creators are worth, and deciding are gamers willing to enter that you know the new terms of the arrangement. So that's kind of where I'm sitting. That's what it looks like.
You know, I think I think
it's good.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Diego.
I was just going to say, I think it's good, though, also that, like, at least this week among developers, I've seen a lot of conversation on Twitter about, like, okay, well, like, I guess you could price up games, but also couldn't you scale down development? Like, do we need as many games to be 60 to 120 hours, or can we, like, get back to the realm of, like, 8 to 40-hour games? And is that okay?
Yeah, that's
I'm
I
fine
mean, it's a
with
good
that.
point.
Yeah.
Go back to the Golden Axe, the arcade game. I think that if you pump in the quarters and you're like halfway decent at it, I think it's about an hour and a half to 2 hour experience.
Less?
Streets of Rage 4 was an hour and a half.
Right.
You know?
And that was amazing.
But what a great time that
Yeah, it's
was, right?
fucking amazing.
Yeah, good hour and a half, yeah.
You know, I think the quality of the experience always trumps whatever padding
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
you know. So that's kind of where we arrive at. Like, what are we really paying for? If I say where I would say this is a problematic situation is that you have that 70 hours just used to justify padding and unsubstantial gameplay that's just meant to just waste everyone's time. It's like, well, if I'm going to spend $70 for 70 hours of padding, mostly, I'd rather spend $15 for all killer, no filler on that. And that's why Damage in Transit is here.
Yeah.
All killer, no filler.
Yeah, man.
I like that. That was like a commercial right there. I like that.
So here's the big thing about prices, though. If say the games are $70 now, if the game is good enough, people aren't gonna have a problem. They're still gonna buy it. It's still gonna sell for that price. Games have dropped all the way down to like 9 cents. I mean, the fact that it has come to that the titles are $1 to 10 cents to this and that. Those games took a long time to make. No game is a snap of the fingers. A bad, terrible game that was shitty is $10. Like, people are charging 9 cents for their game.
I was going I'm glad you said that, because I was going to add, it's like, where is the meeting point for it? Because I've played tons of indie game. I played, perfect example, Blasphemous, right? Yeah. And in the indie shop, was it like $20, $21, something like that. 18 hours. Great game, great gameplay. Had a great time with it, right? Loved it. And then you have something like, NBA, gonna be $70 plus tax, $75. Yeah. So it's like, I'm not a sports gamer anymore. So obviously I'm like, oh, that's really, really high, It's
a big title.
But there's some people who love sports games that don't like games like Blasphemous. They'll be like, yeah, I'll pay that because I'm going to be playing that all year.
Play all the time.
And it's worth it for me. So it's like,
it might be the only game.
It might be the only game they play. So it comes down to what you like, and it's messed up because there's so many indie games that are lower priced than these that offer a lot more than or the same. It's either the same content that these AAA titles give or more, and they're cheaper price, and they're just like
And nobody says anything about the price being too low.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I get spoiled too. Like that game Regalia of Men and Monarchs that used to be $24. They marked that shit down to $3.74. I said, give me that shit. I will take that in seconds. It's a 35-hour game.
But it makes you think that, is $25 too much for this game?
Yeah,
now?
you start
And
getting
now
spoiled.
You're like, the prices are so low.
Yeah, it's like,
so maybe bringing it back up is like, okay, I feel good about spending $40 for this now.
But if they did Smash Brothers, hey, blah blah blah, $70. Yeah, I'll pay it because I'm a Smash Brothers guy. Yeah, I'm gonna pay it.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
I'll buy it. Yeah,
$70.
But these titles are still going on sale.
Yeah,
no,
they'll still drop down. They just gotta wait
right before the next one.
The sale is actually a good. It's sort of this exception to the rule because it's a way where the developer enters into this agreement like, oh, yeah, this game isn't really worth this little, but I'm going to give you a little taste. You know, it's special time. It's Halloween or it's the holidays or whatever. And then the buyer is like, ooh, nice, I can save some money. And the developer is like, yeah, but everybody wins, because what ends up happening is that so many people are like, oh, nice, it's on sale, that it actually creates this spike in sales that they would never otherwise see. So the sale is actually a reverse, like it's actually a big windfall for the developer because just a ton of people are already buying. You know, you just get a lot of buys in bulk. It's like a bulk sale. It's like a set. Okay. It's like a Costco run for the developer.
What about this? I remember me and 23rd Stallion were talking about this business model for sports games, and you know, Smash Brothers. They have the, you know, they released the game, what was it, a year ago, right?
2
years ago.
Three.
Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. And they have these character packs that they're just, you know, like systematically releasing that everybody who owns the game is gonna buy. Like, you know, the sports games, they have a yearly release. They release a new title.
Same thing with like the wrestling games too.
You know,
but you want roster upgrades.
But I would prefer, me personally, like if you had the right gameplay, like the right perfect controls, I would prefer, and I would actually spend money for a roster change.
Yeah, like outfits, or a story, or just trades, or whatever the hell happens in that year.
If the controls are good,
it just comes down to whether they're going to make more money that way.
Yeah,
well,
that's what they think of.
That's the question, though. Do you think they would make more money that way if they did that, or do you think the model that they have now is?
The diehards are still going to buy it. The diehards are still going to buy it.
Regardless, the diehards are going to buy it.
That's why they won't make more that way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I'm surprised they don't charge $150 for Madden and Call of Duty.
Shit.
Like, they'll buy it anyway. It doesn't matter. The people who will buy those games will buy it.
That would be a statement. That would be a statement. That happened. That would be such a statement. That would be like, that would cause so much controversy. Even if people did buy it anyway, it's kind of like whenever Netflix rages. I remember Netflix. You could get the DVDs and the streaming, and when they announced that they were splitting their service, everybody lost it, and then like their stock price kept going up, and their streaming, like it worked out. So I think. Yeah.
Well, look at like Amazon too. Like they after COVID-19 and everything, it's like people are like, oh, I can't get my package and I'm canceling my service. And now look at their stock went up.
Listen, regardless of the price.
Nobody likes to find out they have to pay more money.
No, it's
psychological. That is just the truth of it.
And then you get used to it.
It's the nature of the game, and you just have to. You know.
But there's gonna be outcry, and people are gonna complain until Christmas.
Right.
And then you're like, all right.
Things
$10 more.
What's another thing that went
so
up long?
Actually, what was it? YouTube TV.
Yeah, it's a bunch of stuff. Anything that
goes
up in price
went up.
Anything that goes up in price.
They added Comedy Central and Viacom.
So, like I said, people are gonna get used to it, and people are gonna be outraged, but people are gonna get used to it. And then 2 weeks later, it'll be $60 again, and then it'll be $50.
It'll become the norm. It'll become the norm.
Just don't buy it on day one. Stop pre-ordering, people.
Yeah.